Okay, so last week, Johnny Benson gave a lesson to our little group, and he went off of Alma 51, 1 through 7, and it kind of got my juices going. So I am going to do something off of Alma 51, 1 through 8, because I'm not Johnny, I am a different person. So, um,
I'll let you do that. I have no problem with that.
oh, that's good. Thank you.
Well, we are very deeply relieved.
Right. But Johnny, are you willing to read verse 1 for us?
Yeah.
Good.
And now it came to pass in the commencement of the 25th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi, they, having established peace between the people of Lehi and the people of Morianton
Yes.
concerning their lands, and having commenced the 20 and 5th year in peace.
Good. So, there's a lot of aspects going along through these passages. Hopefully, I'll be able to give them justice as we go through. But one thing I do think relates is some of those things in this verse to kind of help set up um, what's going on. So,
Well, I do know the number 25 comes out pretty a couple of times in that verse.
yes, actually, it's throughout the whole chapter, which we're not going to do. But you want to tell us, do you remember what 25 is about?
I believe, and I may be mistaken on this, but I believe that 25 is about isn't it, it's about grace or
It's along those lines, repentance and forgiveness, which is because of grace.
yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah.
So you're on the right track there.
Mhm.
So yes. And what happens when we repent and receive forgiveness? We receive peace.
Peace, yes. That's why we have the mention of the commencing the 25th year in peace.
Correct. So yeah, I can understand why people say I'm just reading into it, but who doesn't? The question is it a valid reading into it versus an invalid one? Am I?
And
Might I suggest that
sure.
it is a valid because it mentions 25 and peace twice,
And the
immediately following each time it mentions the 25th year, it states peace.
and the other thing about reading into things. The other thing about reading into things is is what you're reading into something true.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe Johnny wanted to say something.
And and this is definitely picking up from Alma 50 verse 40,
Okay, go ahead and read it for us then.
which states, "Now behold, his son was his name was Bahoram, and Bahoram did fill
Phil,
the judgment seat and did commence his reign in the end of the 24th year over the people of Nephi."
yeah, so that does kind of bring up some symbolism that I will bring up later, but I'll since Johnny wanted to read that out. Pahoran is symbolic of Yeshua, the Son. Okay, and look how he did fill the seat of his father, which is what actually
Yes.
happens. And
Yeah.
it is interesting, commence in the reign of the end of the 24th year. 24 has to do with governance. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it is interesting that the symbolic meaning is within the context of what's going on there.
Yes.
Okay. So, and one thing I want to bring out, which will probably make more clear as we look at the different angles as we go through these passages, but um, there was some two lands, the land of Lehi and the land of Morianton. Now, I know it doesn't say the word land, but where do we think the people of Lehi and the people of Morianton are at?
Oh, the lands of Lehi and Morianton, I think.
Those are in the heartland.
Yes, they are located in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yes,
heartland.
they are, Johnny. Yes.
Central America, like a lot of people say it happens.
That is true, Johnny, but I'm focusing on something else, how there's two different lands and two different groups. Now, within the scriptures, the land is very symbolic of the promised land.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And the promised land is symbolic of our inheritance in the kingdom of heaven.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly. And so this is kind of going along with how these two divisions, one's heaven and one is hell. This is to put it bluntly. And later on, in verses later in the chapter that we're not going to go over today, it does bring out how the people of Morianton kind of went against their promise,
Yep.
right? Which actually does kind of go along with the one of the themes that I see in these verses of pre-existence. Okay, so just since we're there, I'll kind of bring that out. Um, Andrew, will you read verse 2 for us?
Sure. Nevertheless, they did not long maintain an entire peace, for there began to be a
Contention.
contention, among the people concerning the chief judge Pahoran. For behold, there were a part of the people who desired that a few particular points of the law should be altered.
Okay, so I'm gonna go forward a little bit, and I'll just read these real quick because I know where it is. But in verse 7, which is not displayed, but I'll scroll down, it lists three groups of people, okay? And I'm just gonna read the list, since it's gonna help with what's going on with these. There were a part of the people, and in verse 7, it brings out how there's three different groups. Group one, which caused much rejoicing among the brethren Behoren. Okay. Group two, and also among the people of liberty. Group three, which also put the kingmen to silence. That kingmen is a third part.
Yes.
Now I know Ben likes to talk about this. Oh, did you want to say something, Josh, real quick?
No, I was just like, oh, I hadn't looked at it like that before, but that's a very interesting point.
So, oftentimes in Hebrew works, when it talks about a third part, it's not talking about a mathematical third. It's talking about, yep, we got three parts, this part, this part, and this part, and that's the third part.
On the lobe and the
So it's kind of like if you say, say you were to have four parts, north, south, east, west, and you were to simply concentrate on the west, concentrated on the fourth part.
Right. Makes sense.
What
But
Ben's
I can
bringing
see
up
where
there,
this has parallels to a third of the host of heaven being cast out.
That's actually,
And-
it's literally stated in the scriptures that that's a third part of the host of heaven,
Right.
not a mathematical third.
Right.
right. And it's interesting.
That's why I was
go
saying
ahead.
I see the parallel.
Yeah.
So Pahoran represents Joshua, and then here's a third part that wanted to adjust the law. Now it is one second. Three is a number that goes along with redemption. Now, a pattern that is in a few places, not a lot, but when you invert it, you invert the meaning.
Yep.
Since what's the opposite of redeemed? Well, it's going to be the damned.
Right.
Which is the son of perdition, those who fight against Yeshua and his law.
Well,
So, well, go ahead, Johnny.
The people who wanted the law to change, those were the kingmen, and the kingmen wanted the law to change so they could set up a king instead of the judge.
Very good. And we'll get to more into that a little later, okay?
Okay.
But that is correct. Now, I did interrupt who was reading, which I actually kind of forgot.
Oh, you
Sorry.
didn't.
Oh, it's Andrew. So, oh, did you read the last part, the which desired a few points?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Read the whole verse too.
A few particular points of the law should be altered. I do love how they put it that way, how they put a few particular points of the law. Mainly anything that had to do with people being free to choose.
Yeah, so let's go look forward a little bit. In verse 5, I'll read 2 points or 2 stanzas in the edition I use, which is the earliest text, to help out with this. For they were desirous that the law should be altered in a manner, and here we go, to overthrow the free government and to establish a king over the land. So let's go look at some of these words while we're here. Because word definitions are important. We don't get just to make up what words mean. If we did that, we wouldn't be able to communicate what we wanted to
A
people.
brief history, though, while you're finding that, while you're looking that up. Now, why it's so essential that the kingmen are able to put a king over the land, it's there throughout history. You have people who are in the higher echelons of society who wish to be in control but not be the face of control in case something goes wrong. And they want to have a fall man. And so what they do is they put a puppet king whom they can control.
Or a puppet president.
Yes, who they can control to do what they want done. And that's what the kingmen, I would presume, because we see it time and again, wanted to do, was trample over the rights of the people and put somebody in power they could control.
Either that or they had somebody in mind.
Somebody they could control.
Or at least would not necessarily control, but they knew it was after their interests.
That's true.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
For example, like we have like Joe Biden and Trump and all these other guys, and even President Oaks.
For example, we have Donald Trump.
He's a puppet for he's a puppet for special interests.
Yeah.
Yes. So, we could read all the definitions. I would say that we just read definition 3, which I think is the most important definition. Ben, you want to read that?
Instituted by a free people, or by consent, or choice of those who are to be subjects, and securing private rights and privileges by fixed laws and principles, not arbitrary or despotic, as a free constitution or government.
Okay, so let's go look at the meaning of government. I know that kind of like what in the world, but just to make sure, right?
In fact, there are many governments in history which had puppets in their
Yes.
history.
Correct. Oh, it's not doing what it
Not
used to.
for government.
And it's going slow.
Well,
That's not convenient.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so there's lots of definitions here. And they all pretty much go along with how they have the exercise of authority. They're able to control or restrain. System of polity.
Yes,
And-
politics.
Yeah. An empire, a kingdom, the right of governing or administrating the laws. which also includes enforcing them, right?
Mhm.
The person or council which administers the laws of a kingdom or state. Uh, in management, and now they're saying limbs or body, but the government would be like the head, governing the rest of the people. So
Mhm.
now let's put these two words together. What would what would free government mean?
The laws are known, they are put in place, they are enforced by people, by judges chosen by the people. Also, the police force would also be chosen by the people. The
And there's
enforce the
and there
enforcement. Sorry, Zach, go on.
yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, go on, go on.
What's what I'm looking for. The laws are clear and clear to be, enforced. They're not intentionally made vague so they can do a whole bunch of crap with it.
Yeah, so basically no loopholes.
Yeah.
Because we don't need what's going on in the United States where the government could just make loopholes whatever they want.
Correct.
That's pretty much everywhere.
So, and one thing that I want to bring out is how it's instituted by the free people and consent or choice of those who are to be subjects. That sounds like
Yes.
by the voice of the people, or also known as, in one word, vote.
Or
Okay.
voting.
Which not to sound like a shill for our government, but they say that your vote matters, but in our government it does not.
No.
It was set up originally so that your vote didn't matter.
Yeah, they make it look like it does, but on the issues, your vote does not matter.
Right.
And your vote does not determine what the laws are.
No.
And technically, even in a free society, um, the people should simply know what the laws are and choose to obey or disobey them.
Mm-hmm.
Being fully cognizant of the consequences of disobedience.
Correct. So now, but to go along, keep reading further and looking at the definition, to overthrow the free government and to establish a king over the land. So, a king is a ruler that does not have to answer
Answer to
to
anyone.
anybody else.
Yep.
Meaning they can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter what the people decide. So, um, Ben, you love words. You want to pick up one of these definitions or all of them and that help us see that a king is like a monarch, that
Okay,
he
yeah.
can do whatever the hell
You
he.
start with the first one here. The chief or sovereign of a nation, a man invested with supreme authority. Supreme authority
I mean,
over
he doesn't have to answer anybody, does he?
right, basically. Over a nation,
An emperor or president.
right.
Not a president, but yes.
Yeah.
On the other ones.
Over a nation, tribe, or country. A monarch. Kings are absolute monarchs. When they possess the powers of government without control or the entire sovereignty over a nation, they are limited. Okay, kings are monarchs when they have entire sovereignty. They are limited monarchs when the power is restrained by fixed laws, and they are absolute when they possess the whole legislative, judicial, and executive power, or when the legislative or judicial powers or both are vested in other bodies of men. Kings are hereditary sovereigns when they hold the powers of government by right of birth or inheritance and
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 elective.
elective when raised to the throne by choice. Kings are tyrants.
What? Say that again.
Kings will be tyrants from policy when subjects are rebels from principle. That is the sentence that defines the first definition.
Yeah.
The second definition: a sovereign, a prince, a ruler. This is Christ is called King of His church. That's not necessarily the bad kind of king. You can't have good kings. You can't have bad kings.
Correct. And in Torah, when it says not to have a king like the pagans, it's not that you can't have a king, because then Yeshua being king would be breaking Torah. It's that the king is not to behave like the kings of the pagans.
And I think
Right.
those are the two that most concern what we're talking about here.
No, in history we do have like good kings and we have bad kings.
Well, the difference between good kings and bad kings in history and good kings and bad kings in the Bible is significant. Good kings
Yeah.
are simply kings who were competent, not necessarily. When you look at the Dark Ages, the kings of the Dark Ages were not good men.
No.
They were just
So they were not good kings.
They were good at manipulating things in their favor.
Just like our current president is not a good man, but he is competent at what he does.
Right.
And he's doing what he was hired to do.
Yes.
Divide the people.
Which is destroy the country. Correct. Yes, he is doing
Yeah,
exactly what he was hired to do. Yes.
Yes. Now, one thing I want to bring out, there's this contrast between free government and king. So a king can force you to do what he wants you to do. If not, he just throws you in jail. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Where a free government, if there's an officer who starts to behave incorrectly according to his office, he can be taken out. A king cannot, except with much bloodshed. Okay.
Correct.
Now, since I'm kind of bringing this up right here, I will bring out this point, and this sounds like Satan. Okay.
Yes.
He wanted to take away the agency from man such that he could bring back everybody back.
There's no
Nobody
no
fails.
way that
Everybody
anybody
gets a
had a choice
participation
otherwise.
trophy.
Yes, everybody got a participation trophy.
It's a similar election in our country and in the Church of the Latter-day Saints. You don't have a choice in the matter. The person is chosen regardless.
Yes. So I was going to get to that, but let me finish this thought and then I'll go to that thought. So, but then Satan wanted all the glory. Satan didn't want to change his character. He just wanted the honor. Let me do things outside of the laws
Nope.
to get what I want and to look good, rather than doing things within what is acceptable ultimately to everybody when they actually sit down and think about it, because they may say they can do whatever they want, but they sure hell don't like it when everybody else does whatever they want to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Right. The eternal double standard. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, we're not supposed to make double standards. We're supposed to actually make things
Or we should be applying the same standard to ourselves and everybody else.
Yes. Yes.
That's just, I mean, nobody likes double standards. Nobody does. Even those who are applying it. Yes.
Definitely not when the double standard is applied to them.
Correct. So, and the other point that Johnny did start to bring up, I will bring out now. So, when you go back to Mosiah 29, it talks about how we are to vote. And it's even here in this verses I want to go over, which we'll get to in a bit. But just trust me for now. We'll get there, okay? But even Mosiah 29, it states that. In addition, it is stated, I think it's Mosiah 29, if not they're close, that the voice of the people is not prone to go to wickedness. Okay? So,
The voice
here's
of the majority. The voice of the majority is generally will not choose wickedness. Yes.
correct, correct. Now, but when they do, they will be destroyed, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So there, if you're worried about any type of government getting corrupt, do you want one person at the top picking whoever's should take place or be officers who could be corrupt himself, and it'd be easier to corrupt one person versus many people? Or would you want the public that is to be represented by the officer to be voted by the people, as in the definition in the give of the dictionary of free government?
Mm.
Well, we were supposed to be a free government, but we're not.
Correct, but I'm
Well,
trying to
but
bring out
which,
some
Johnny, the question was, which would you rather have?
Which would you rather?
I'd much rather be free to choose.
There we go.
correct. And on top of that, how likely would a one top down more likely be corrupted than a bottom up when the voice of the majority are not very prone to be wicked, where one man, such as King Noah,
Oh,
is
yeah.
prone?
That's a very good example.
When you have one man, the odds of wickedness or righteousness is 50-50.
Yes. Now, what about when we have to worry about the majority?
Well, that mathematically those odds go the odds of
It changes through time.
yeah, it changes through time and the number of people. But the odds would go according to the postulate put forward by Mosiah, the odds would go down for choosing wickedness the more people are involved.
Correct. And I think part of it is because they're going to see how it's applied to them.
Yes.
Otherwise we're fucked.
Now, since I'm on this point, I will state something.
Oh, I probably.
Let me go find it. In the DNC, it does bring out how Yahweh's laws are spiritual and not temporal. Okay,
There is no law that is purely temporal.
no. So hopefully this is it since I'm going to show it.
We'll find out soon enough.
Yep. So, yeah, here it is. DNC 2934 through 35.
Okay.
Ben, since you started, you want to read that?
Wherefore, verily I say unto you that all things unto me are spiritual.
What, how many things?
Everything.
Oh,
All things.
Okay, all right. I just want to be clear
All
there.
things unto me are spiritual.
That's-
There's no
that's
such
three-letter
thing
word.
as, yes, there's no such thing as a purely physical law from Elohim. And not at any time have I given unto you a law which was temporal.
Oh, were you reading his mind?
No, I was kind of extrapolating from the previous statement, which he then spells out for us.
Yes, but you are reading his mind.
Yeah. Actually, yes, you're right. I am reading his mind. I'm reading the scriptures. But that's what this, guys, that's what the scriptures are. The revelation of his mind and will. So, anytime somebody says that they know better than the scriptures, you're saying you know better than God.
Yes.
And sorry there.
So, and I'm afraid you will find yourself gravely mistaken. But in the meantime, good luck with that.
Yeah, look at society right now. Is it going more positive or more negative now that they're en masse ignoring Yahweh more and more?
The
it's
majority
getting worse and worse.
the majority of people today would choose evil.
Yeah.
In fact, there's many people who are leaving the churches because they want to choose evil.
Well, there's people who are leaving the churches for many reasons, and some of them are actually quite legit. So I would suggest that you be careful with that line of reasoning. Okay, no, I don't defend it. Be careful with it. Neither any man nor the children of men, neither Adam, your father, whom I created. Behold, I gave unto him that he should be an agent unto himself, and I gave unto him commandment, but no temporal commandment.
Hmm?
What? Wait, what? What?
You need a P on that temporal there.
Oh,
Then you need a D instead of a T, an A,
No,
and
T
D.
E M. No. Not there. TEMP.
oh, yeah. I caps that on my own. FYI.
Yeah, so,
And it's
but
it's
no,
I gave unto him not commandment, but I think you meant commandment, but
that needs to be A and gave unto him command. This is supposed to be commandment, I believe.
all right.
Okay,
Anyway,
we'll fix it later.
Yeah.
sorry.
But
Sorry.
no temporal commandment gave I unto him, for my commandments are sexual.
So, does this include every commandment he's given us are spiritual?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting at some point to go through all those commandments, and so the spiritual roots of even things that seem to be purely temporal.
Oh, you mean the law of Moses is also?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because actually the Book of Mormon states that points us to Yeshua's atonement. Alma 34, if I'm correct.
So no, for my commandments are spiritual. They are not natural nor
Oh,
temporal.
wait a minute. Let's double. Did we read that right?
Yeah, they are not natural nor temporal, neither carnal nor sensual. So though he handed down the sentence of the law of carnal commandments,
That was a punishment.
yes,
Yes.
that was not his. That was a punishment, which, while it was in effect, was a commandment, but when it was no longer in effect, it was not eternal.
Right.
So, what I'm trying to bring out here is that these laws that are spiritual and not temporal that he has given us are not mirrors. They are the actual laws. Because here he doesn't give us any natural or mirror, but they're all spiritual. Okay. So to go off with this, let's go back.
No. No, sorry. There are many people that would, like John Tucker, who would also throw that out, throw the mirrors thing out.
Yeah,
Yes, that is true.
that is true.
Try not to name.
Try not to name names here, Johnny.
I'll
Okay.
do better with that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let's think about this. What I want to apply. So Yahweh stated we are to vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yet here is Satan and the pre-existence trying to take away our agency, our ability to choose.
Right.
Voting has to do with choosing. And let's just to kind of go to verse 8 to kind of help cement this before I say the last part. So I will read the last part because I just know the part that I want, which sought power and authority over the people. So we don't have to go to the dictionary. I'm just going to tell you what power is. The right of government, the empire or king to govern or a ruler. So this is all about governing or forcing people to do things. Okay. And authority is legal power or permission of government. Okay. So Satan, in the pre-existence, sought to force people against their will. Now, here is a group of people who want to continue that um, in the civil government. Okay.
Okay, so this battle has been being fought time and again. You read about this battle being fought in the Bible, read about it here. This fight for whether we will have the choice to determine whether we will be allowed the choice to determine what is right and what is wrong, and how we will choose along those lines. This is absolutely essential, given that our spirits are co-eternal with God, that we choose to become like His Son. But we have to choose it. If we are forced to do it, we gain nothing. We are left. Maybe we get into the kingdom of, maybe everybody gets into the kingdom of heaven, but we're left in that same state before the whole experiment began. We have not become.
Correct. And thus we will receive less rewards.
Right.
But the war over choice or not, or the people wanting to control us versus Yahweh letting us to choose is still playing out. Now,
Yes.
in the civil government, this is a very good example how wicked men who wanted power and authority over you, which is the complete opposite of wanting to serve and help you, wanted to change the law to take this away. And let's go look at verse 6 that helps bring this out. And I'm going to read this part since we're kind of sidetracking a little bit. To maintain their right. So this is the freemen, the ones that are with Pahoran or Yeshua, to maintain their rights. And rights are items not governed by laws or ethical principles of freedom established. So, so your rights are things that you can do on your own without having to go and ask permission, right?
Yeah, this is it's this great statement from the Declaration of Independence. We hold these rights to be unalienable. The right, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So those are the rights that they hold to be unalienable, or inalienable, depending on who you want to ask, whether you ask Jefferson or Adams. But
Anyways,
that's the definition of a right, is that it is just there. Nobody can take it away from you. It is inalienable.
right, it is something that God grants unto you,
Mm-hmm.
or Elohim. And privileges are benefits, okay, of their religion. So their ability to worship Yahweh and to use their agency to decide to do good or evil.
Right.
By a free government. So a government that's upheld by the people, so bottom up and not top down.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the righteous Nephites fighting. Well, not here. Actually, this was debating, which we'll get. Actually, goes back to the pre-existence. We just jumped around a little bit. But they're contending for the ability to choose. Okay, where a king man or a king is monarch, he just forces you to do things, which goes along with Satan wanting to take away their agency.
Yep.
Now, considering that Mosiah brings out how we are to vote, to choose, it is against Yahweh's ways to do something pattern off of Satan. Okay. So these wicked men who just want to control are changing the government to make it so they can just control. instead of people choosing. And that is wicked. Okay. Now, to go along with this subject, I'm going to bring up a page that talks about how we are to vote for the officers in the church. Now, if it is good in the civil kingdom, should not the civil kingdom follow the pattern of the religious kingdom, especially since all laws are spiritual?
That would make sense.
I mean, just maybe, right?
Yeah, you know.
So, oh, we might want to change the zoom, huh? To make it a little bigger.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So there's a couple things on this page, but at the bottom I have stuff about church voting, church, so on the church government, okay? So
Mhm.
I do have some definitions that show how voice, common consent, chosen, election, appoint, all deal with voting, okay? And then we have a whole bunch of verses here that point how church government is by vote of the people. So bottom up, just like in civil government, it is to
Yep.
be the same in church government. So the thing that I think we need to consider, if it's evil in civil government to be a top down, as in the top leaders decide everything, the people have no say in it, why would it be righteous in a church government to be what is evil in a civil government?
Mhm.
It's not.
Nope.
So this top-down religious government was actually one of the key principles of Nicolaitan doctrine, along with a large degree of lawlessness.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that is, in the book of Revelation, it states that the doctrine of the Nicolaitans is hated.
So let's go get that real quick. So Revelations. Oh, I gotta share.
So the Nicolaitans are the lawless, quote unquote, lawless Christians.
The lawless Christians who wish to, it's basically they're lawless individuals who want authority over others.
Okay, so let's which chapter?
Let me think here. It's going to be in one of the pastoral letters, so let's go to Revelation.
Okay, so we're gonna pause while we go find the actual verse for a second. Okay, so we found the verse, and Ben's gonna read it for us and talk about it.
Okay, so here we are, and this is the words of Yeshua to the church at Ephesus, and he has some things to say about them that are good and some things that are bad, and this is one of the things that he has that he likes about. But this thou hast, that thou hatest the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate. Now, the deeds of the Nicolaitans were lawless and licentious.
As in very abomination sexually.
In their personal lives, and they believed in top-down control structures, much like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yes, very sadly. But that is what they have, and we're showing scriptures that go against it.
Yes, so this is something that Yeshua hates, is this top-down control structure in the church. And if you read throughout the Doctrine and Covenants, it was never meant to be that way.
Correct. And so let's go look at a few verses because there's a lot to look at, and it would probably take too long to look at all of them, but we should look at some.
Yes.
In fact, maybe we'll start with a quote I have at the bottom where Brigham Young is describing what happened. Andrew, you want to read that quote there at the bottom?
Let every man, that one?
Yeah, right here. This.
Joseph presided over the church by the voice of the church, or by the vote of the members. Perhaps it would make some of you stumble were I to ask you a question. Does a man's being a prophet in this church prove that he shall be president of it? I answer, no. A man may be a prophet, seer, and revelator, and it may have nothing to do with his being the president of the church. Suffice it to say that Joseph was the president of the church as long as he lived. The people chose or voted to have it so. He always filled that responsible station by the voice or the vote of the people or members. Can you find any revelation appointing him the president of the church? The keys of the priesthood were committed to Joseph to build up the kingdom of God on the earth, and were not to be taken from him in time or in eternity. But when he was called to preside over the church, it was by the voice or vote of the people, the members. Though he had the keys of the priesthood independent of the voice or vote.
Yeah. So this has a couple things in here. One, at the very bottom, it says Joseph Smith had the required priesthood to be president, okay? But he was not president until the choice of the people was made out for that to be the case. Hence, vote bottom up. The members vote for it. They did not do sustaining that is being done in the LDS Church now. Sustaining is top down.
Similarly, when the 1835 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants was published, it was ratified by the voice of the people.
Correct. And I have a link for that on the Lectures on Faith page that people can go see and read, or they can go on the Joseph Smith papers or archive, or go buy a reprint. There's lots of places to go see it. It's just you have to go see it, and it's easy to find. But I'll just let's see. 107 is a good one. Maybe do one from 107.
Okay.
So D&C LDS 107:22. Of the Melchizedek priesthood, 3 presiding high priests. Oh, going along with the one that was just the quote from Brigham Young. The first presidency, chosen by vote by the body or the members of the church, not Yahweh Elohim, appointed and ordained to that office and upheld by the confidence, faith, and prayers of the church or the members, form a quorum of the presidency of the church.
So this upheld by the confidence is actually a really key idea. Like in certain democracies, or certain democratic republics, like like Great Britain at this point, if there is, if you feel that if they feel that the prime minister is not doing his job effectively or well, they can hold a vote of no confidence and throw him out and his government.
Correct. But that's of the people, not the top down, because the top down never vote themselves out.
Right. This is the vote of no confidence is by the people.
Right, which goes along how you vote them in and you can vote them out. Okay.
Which is sadly not really not really a feature that's available in American politics.
Or the LDS Church or other churches. They're not the only one that has a problem, but being someone who grew up in the church and then removed my name, I am familiar with what happens there. And the only place in the D&C that says sustain, it has to do with governmental offices, not church offices. Okay. So I'll give a link to this page. You can find many other quotes here, as you can see. Okay. All right, but
Lots of stuff about voting.
yes, and I think I need to add some more, but that's another subject. So I'm going to go back to Alma 51. So, so I think we're for the most part done with that sidetracked. So I do think we should go back to verse 3. So that was kind of a long sidetrack, but that was a good that's Revelations. A good side question that Johnny brought up. And so I do try to answer people's questions when they come up. Um so John, are you willing to read verse 3?
I am. But behold, Pahoran would not alter, nor suffer the law to be altered.
Okay, so one thing I want to interrupt.
Yep.
So Yahweh in Torah actually specifies that we are not to add or take away from the law.
Oh, wait, wouldn't that be called changing or altering?
Or turning to the left or the right.
Yeah.
So especially considering when we look at the symbolism here, especially when considering the pre-existence, Pharaoh, or Pahoran, is a representation of Yeshua, and he didn't want the law to be altered when at the Grand Council and the pre-existence, some people wanted to modify it.
Yes.
Right? And, well, it's actually the law that the law shall not be changed. Funny. All right.
Yeah,
So,
it's surprising how many people want to say that it has.
well, most of them, I would say, are confused. Others are actually enjoying their lawlessness and they want to keep it that way.
And then there are others who are kingmen.
Yes, that are doing it on purpose to rule over them. In fact, the way is Satan and demons rule over you, and unrighteous men is binding you by your sins.
Yes.
That's how they control you.
Yep.
So, John,
Yeah, so this is something to. This is just a warning. Every time you violate the law of RLDS, you're giving Satan and his minions a permission and handhold into your life.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So, if you wish to fight serious spiritual warfare, don't learn a whole bunch of spiritual warfare prayers. Keep Torah.
Right. And if you want Yahweh's protection, you actually need to keep it. In fact, in Torah, there is the example of the Israelites in the mixed multitude with the poisonous snakes. Yahweh brings out the reason why they ended up not being protected by him is because they were not listening to him and his ways. So Yahweh left them to their own devices, which also goes along with an Isaiah verse that that Zach brought up. In fact, let me just look it up real quick. I think I have it. 1 second. But it's about how Yahweh is shaping or forming the wicked. And it's Isaiah 57:18. I'll just go over it briefly. I need to do more on it, but anyways, there's a lot of things I need to do. But here it is. Isaiah 57:18. I Yahweh have seen his way. Oh no, one's not it. I think
No, that's the wrong one.
that's the wrong one. So never mind. I must have it somewhere else, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, he fences. He performs a fence. He builds a fence around those who are keeping his ways, such that the devils cannot come after them.
Correct. But if you don't keep his ways, you have no promise.
Correct.
Mhm.
And so this darkness is just in Satan, the demons themselves, but Yahweh, when you keep his ways, will protect you. So, anyways, John, are you willing
Yes.
to keep reading?
I am. Therefore, those who were desirous that the law should be altered were angry with him, and desired that he should no longer be chief judge over the
I
land.
don't think we finished 3. I think you're on therefore he.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're
That's
right. In verse 3, therefore he did not hearken to those who had sent in their voices with their petitions concerning the altering of the law.
Okay, so as we went over, there were some things that in specific they wanted to alter the law, which actually would give a crack in it that would destroy it because of who would be put in charge. Okay.
Correct.
But there's like one example with Moses, how the daughters of somewhat, maybe you got through.
The daughter of Pharaoh of Egypt, or
No, the daughters of an Israelite that came to Moses saying, "Why should our father be forgotten?"
yes, oh yes, I remember that, but I don't remember the name of the.
Okay, neither do I. So, anyways, you can tell how well I'm prepared. But they came to Moses with a petition. And he then went to Yahweh with it because he saw the concern and he did not know enough yet. So he went to Yahweh and said, "Here is what we are to do." And it was that their daughters had to marry someone within their own tribe, and then it would be uh, passed through the daughter to the son-in-law.
Yeah.
And so that was, for whatever reason, it wasn't brought up initially, perhaps to help those women have the courage to speak up and to work with the leaders to bring things out. Okay. I righteous leaders, they do actually want to serve and not control. And as much as they may try, they don't think of everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
Correct.
And that's one example because it's in the 5 books of Moses that Moses is one of the meekest men. Now, if you know what meek means, which I'll let Ben say, because I know he likes to talk about that, it's not as bad as would sound otherwise.
yeah. A lot of people in the world today like to say that this idea that the meek are just doormats. They just are kind of yes men who just learn from everybody, and
Because
there's this learning, the ability to learn from anybody is a good attribute, but that's not what meek is. Meek, the meek who shall inherit the earth are the humbly obedient, those who humbly live and dwell in the house of Moses. Torah.
Yes.
That is the meek. And they shall inherit the earth. By the way, if the earth was not heaven, that would not be a reward.
Correct. And that would actually be a punishment, which Ben's bringing out. Heaven will literally be here on earth. And all the various portions of it. So, with that, Andrew, are you willing to read verse 4?
Of course.
Oh, actually, I forgot one thing. One thing I want to bring out. So this idea of the law, okay? It may sound like that means that we're being forced, but it's actually not. What the law does, it says, here's what is right and wrong. You choose. Here's the blessing if you do what is right. Here's the cursing if you do what is wrong.
That sounds like force.
You need to read a dictionary.
Yeah, I don't know how to help you.
I know, right? No, but that's my point is if there's choice, there's no force. We are not victims. We make our choices.
Right, but the fact that there is a law shows that we're not robots and that you get to choose.
Well, yeah, okay. There's a lot of people who say that the law enslaves us. But I'm just going to say this. If you don't have a law, a code, some kind of moral base,
Compass, that's the word.
moral baseline, you have no freedom. The wide variety of choices with no guidelines is tyranny by the multiplication of choices.
Yeah. And partly, even if you're somewhat a good person, everybody else is somewhat of a good person, but then everybody does somewhat righteous their own ways, and no one ever agrees with each other, and so you're just all fighting over what is yours, and you're not really there to enjoy anything because there is no law.
Yeah.
You're always having to defend yourself and what is yours rather than enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with that, Andrew, will you read first for us?
Therefore, those who were desirous that the law should be altered were angry with him.
Okay, so does that sound anything like the council in the pre-existence?
Mm-hmm.
Also sounds like a fair amount of blue-haired people in this last after this last election.
Yes, on that point, when the red don't win, they deal with it, right? And the blue, they go crazy. Now, I do believe there's problems with both the left and the right, or the blue and the red. I think they're two wings of the same bird. But generally speaking, the blue left has a lot harder dealing with other people having choices.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
So they're pretty much, although they say they're for the people, they actually want to control. And if you go look what the left leads to, it leads to leaders in control, and then you have nothing. And even the country on the north part of South America is
Venezuela.
Venezuela is a very recent example of that.
Yeah, but in our case, you may get that raised basic income. So
Yeah, but then the prices, everything goes up.
Yes.
So
mere trifles, okay?
well, in fact, it's a trifle, but if you want to stand a fact,
I would say, while I did make this kind of political, the fact is those who are in wickedness really want to control those around them to make them supportive of their wickedness. And they get very angry when their wickedness will not be supported.
a very big example of that from the Book of Mormon are the Lemuel and Lemuel, or the Lamanites.
Yes.
They're all about how Nephi took away the rights of their government because he went somewhere else. Yeah, robbed them of their rights of the government as he left them to govern themselves and he went somewhere else to govern himself. He didn't take anything from them. He just didn't want their unwickedness.
But he took people with him, actually.
They chose to follow him. He's been forced.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? It's the mindset of Laman and Lemuel.
Yeah.
The mindset of Laman and Lemuel is, he took people with him.
How dare you take away my unloyal subjects?
Yeah.
Anyway, are we
Okay.
ready?
Yeah, go read the. I'll probably read to the period.
The end. Okay. And desired that he should no longer be chief judge over the land.
Okay, so my edition's a little different.
Semicolon. So
Okay.
I have here.
Okay, well that's I have a period. Anyways, as you can see, I have a slightly different edition written by a Brighamite. So, or anyways, Royal Skousen. It's my favorite edition. But anyways, um, so at the council there was a big group of a third part that did not want Yeshua in charge anymore.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not sound the same?
Yes.
Yeah. So here, what I'm trying to bring out: righteousness follow patterns, wickedness follow patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Righteous pattern is that let people choose and vote who are their representatives. So bottom up. Wickedness pattern is wicked people are going to choose the leaders and they're just going to force you to take it. They don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, later in the chapter, I think 17, 18 or so, these people who were kingmen, when it came to defend the people that they so supposedly wanted to help with being leadership, guess what they did? They're like, no, sorry. And so they tried to get out of helping. And then Moroni did something where a lot of people find controversial, where he forced them to defend. Now, that is according to Torah. Okay? We won't get into it because it's a side subject, but Torah requires you to defend your family and your neighbors, which is what Moroni was enforcing at that time. That is Yahweh's law. In fact, this also goes along with the Good Samaritan. That is actually civil law in most places, not just a religious law. That you are to help those in need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same basic idea.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that they're also the kingmen are also fulfilling the pattern of evil, which is when the voice of the people doesn't choose their way, they then go about righteously trying to um, show them how wrong they were by withholding goods and services.
Self-righteously doing.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So Andrew, so go ahead and finish.
Basically, a big temper tantrum is what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah, they are. But we didn't get what we wanted, so now.
Yes, having 5 kids, I recognize that for what it is. Okay. Therefore, there arose a warm dispute concerning the matter.
Okay, so what's
But
a
not on the
warm?
bloodshed.
Yeah, not on the bloodshed. Okay, so what's a warm dispute?
An argument.
Somewhat. So a warm dispute. Oh, go ahead.
A warm dispute is similar to what you is similar to what has existed up to this point in the in recent years in the civil dialogue in the United States of America. That's a good example of a warm dispute.
See, are you talking about like when they go out with protests, but nothing happens, that kind of thing, or are you talking?
We're talking about the
social
protests.
media.
We're talking about mostly peaceful protests. We're talking about we're also talking about it, the how when people get together and debate, the dialogue is not civil.
So I think you'll like definition 3.
Yes, zealous, ardent, as to be warm in the cause of our country or of religion. So yeah, it's where both sides are zealous and ardent in
Their position.
defending their position.
And they're willing to go too far, like Simon the Zealot.
Yes.
Zealous.
Yes.
They're going too far for what they believe is right. And becoming like their enemies and going beyond the bounds of what they should do, which what they're claiming the other side is doing.
Yeah.
John, are you willing to read verse 5?
Yes. And it came to pass that those who were desirous that Pahoran should be dethroned from the judgment seat were called kingmen.
Or, looking at the pre-existence, those who followed Satan,
Correct.
right? Because Pahoran's Yeshua, and those who followed Satan, actually, there was a war to try to dethrone him,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
But it's interesting that they put no bloodshed. Perhaps it was because it's a war of words,
Yes.
just like the one in heaven,
Yes.
or pre-existence, or pre-mortality is probably a better way of saying it. So
Yes.
that was perhaps not the best habit of way of saying it, but anyways.
Yeah. For they were desirous that the law should be altered in a manner to overthrow the free government and to establish a king over the land.
So this is where we've already kind of gone over how this follows the pattern of trying to take away people's agency and force people. We don't need to go over the details of that again. And which goes along how top down or the top leaders claim that it's coming from whoever they're following to say this is how it's supposed to be. Rather than in the scriptures that we saw, even with the first presidency, it's vote by the members of the church. Okay. So here's these patterns. And so, yes, Satan twists. But here's that doesn't mean it's like exactly the same or how it's twisted. Here, Satan has leaders. It's how the leaders get into power that's the twist. Okay. Ben, are you willing to read 6?
Absolutely. And those who were desirous that Pahoran should remain chief judge over the land took upon them the name of freemen, and thus was the division among them. For the freemen had sworn or covenanted. I think that's a really important word there.
Yes, it is.
They're covenanted to maintain their rights and the privileges of their religion by a free government.
So go ahead and talk about covenanted as
it's covenant is a two-way promise. And it's you promise one person, say if you were to make a land covenant, you promise the person land, you promise the person that you're covenanting the land to land, and they covenant to give you money. Then you would then in the ancient Middle Eastern custom they would then slaughter animals as a sign of the covenant, and the two parties would walk between the animals, showing that they were covenanted in the partition of land and what have you. Now,
let me throw something in real quick.
Yeah.
The reason they cut the animal because they were enacting what the punishment would be.
Yes.
If they broke the covenant.
Yes.
Which is death.
Mm-hmm. So this is the thing about a covenant. It's a very strong promise. And the penalty for the breaking of covenants is death. It's just like the penalty for perjuring oaths often also is death.
I will also point out the adversary's method of this is a certain type of blood oath.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is. Where the one with Yahweh, it's symbolic.
Yes. So now I do think that it's important that we go in here, find out what they were covenanted to do, to maintain their rights and privileges of their religion by a free government. Without, if the government's laws are not based in Torah, the people will not be free.
Yeah, and I want to add. So this example is that we're going over is specifically civil government.
Mm-hmm.
But as I brought out, why would Yahweh have it one way in the civil government and differently in the religious government, especially when Yahweh, as you saw, there's lots of verses that the religious government is by vote, not sustaining. And so the only way to keep your religion pure and undefiled, part of it is that you make the members who are less prone to wickedness are putting in the correct leaders that they can see that they have the talents to fulfill what's required for that office or calling. Okay. And also have the ability to take them out, which actually Yahweh states in the DNC when someone in office sins, including the first presidency, they are to be judged, showing that the first presidency can lead people astray. If they can sin, they can lead people astray.
So, these covenanted people, there's only one covenant that requires us to keep Torah. That binds us to that which gives us, will guarantee us a free government. And that covenant is symbolized in baptism.
It's a witness. So we'll go look at that real quick. So my favorite verse for this, and if Ben's okay with it, we'll use this one, is Mosiah. I do read the Book of Mormon sometimes. 18. And I don't know the verse, so
8 through 10.
8 through 10.
oh, okay, never mind. Someone else knows the verse. I like Control F.
So it's 10 that deals with the majority of the covenant.
So, John, since you know the verses, would you care to read them?
All right. Now we're going to start at the end of 8. And now, as ye are desirous to come into the fold of Elohim, to be called his people, and are willing to bear one another's burdens, that they may be light, yea, and are willing to mourn with those that mourn, yea, and comfort those that stand in need of comfort, and to stand as witnesses of Elohim at all times and in all things and in all places, that ye may be in, even until death, that ye may be redeemed of Elohim, and be numbered with those of the first resurrection, that ye may have eternal life. Now I say unto you, if this be the desire of your hearts, what have you against being baptized in the name of Yahweh as a witness before
Oh,
him?
wait a minute. A witness.
Yeah.
So that's like is that like a witness at a court?
Yeah.
Who like testifies of something that has already happened?
Yes.
They saw
As a witness before him that ye have entered, already done so, into a covenant with him, that ye will serve him and keep, serve him and keep his commandments.
So did that
law.
so is there any exceptions in those commandments?
No.
Like except for this one or that one, or maybe my not favorite one?
If we keep all of them, he will pour out his Torah more abundantly upon us, or our understanding of Torah more abundantly.
I do want to one thing that I'm this abundantly. So was it okay? So to get more abundantly, do you have to be abundantly before?
Yes.
So you can have Yahweh gives us Torah before we're baptized?
Yes.
Could that be because the light of Christ is in
All men.
wait a minute. All men?
Yeah.
I'm referring Moroni 7 for those who are wondering.
Yes.
So being baptized, before you're baptized, you can have the Spirit abundantly.
Yes.
Oh, but my church says otherwise.
Well, your church needs to repent.
Oh, well, they didn't. That's why I left.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So just to bring this back here to Alma chapter 51. If you could go back and bring up a Mosiah 18.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to draw some connections here.
Oh, I'm bringing it back. I thought we were done.
No. Does not So just to bring it back to the subject matter at hand, Alma 51, verse 6. Does not a free government help us to bear one another's burdens?
Yes. So, quick example on a top down, a lot of people feel like they can do nothing unless they're told to do it. And so, when someone needs help, well, guess what? It goes through a council, blah, 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 blah. And it may or may not happen. If it's bottom up, people are encouraged to do and take care of things that they see.
And so, from this same principle, we see that this free government helps us to mourn with those that mourn, to comfort those that stand in need of comfort. And it allows us, that free government has to be there to allow us to be able to stand as witnesses of God.
Correct. Which goes along with to maintain the rights and privileges of the religion by a free government. They knew here, Pharaoh, Pahoran, knew to be able to keep the religion was dependent upon a free government because that keeps it from wicked people less likely crawling or climbing up the ranks because they will be removed rather than being let in there with the excuses, well, God put him in there so he could learn something.
You're right. And so if you can take it back to Alma 51:6 now. So I just wanted to point out that this is just an example of what we were talking about earlier. There is nothing that is just physical. All of these things have spiritual impact.
Oh, we should go back to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, it takes me a couple clicks. Doesn't take too long. Anyway, there we go.
Yeah. All of these things have spiritual impact. There is no law, no commandment given that is purely temporal. When we choose to live, when we do not have a free government, our ability to practice our religion, to keep our covenants, is severely dampened.
And if you living the life that we live right now, wherein because we have a calendar that does not mesh with the lunisolar calendar,
or is in Yahweh's calendar that's in
Yeah.
Genesis 1:14 and 16.
correct.
Because even though in King James it says seasons, it's moed behind the English translation
Which
back in
means appointed time. Now, with that being said, I live according to Yahweh's time. But the world lives according to the time of Rome.
Yeah.
And they don't mesh. So it would seem that my Sabbath changes every month.
Or moon.
Or moon.
Just so people were, moon is an old English word that got, because it was which number of the moon it is, as first, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth.
Yes. But it's my Sabbath according to Yah, the Sabbath according to Yah's calendar is the same day. It just looks like it changes according to the Gregorian.
Yeah, it happens because two calendars are overlaying each other.
Correct.
Well,
and it is not. We are not under a free government right now.
Oh,
our government is very top down. Yeah, there's the illusion of the vote, but
it's nothing important.
We also have our with that illusion of the vote comes our wonderful electoral college, which can overthrow our votes.
Well, yeah, especially since not every state makes it mandated. It has to be in any form or fashion tied to the popular vote.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is that with the free government, sure, I have a privilege to worship how I will. But that can also be, if you look at the laws that are connected to my to religious worship in general, there is a caveat phrase. And the caveat is if the employer, you have that right if the employer has the coverage they need for business needs. If they don't, then you're in hot water. So every single thing has a government, and everything in this world is run top down. And if you want to make a living, if you want to do anything in this world, you have to be aware of the top down.
Oh, in other words, if you want to buy or sell?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even goal setting is top down. That's like just force it down your throat. But anyways,
correct.
And I'll even just say this: even on your mission for the LDS Church, it's top down.
Yeah,
goal setting.
Very much.
Absolutely. So my point is, it's not easy. Just to go off of what Ben is saying, it is not easy, especially if, especially with survival. But at the same time, we have, that gives us choice, that gives us agency. And I will say this, I will choose to be a free man and take hold of the rights that Yah has given me. For I know in whom I have trusted, just as these free men knew in whom they trusted.
Amen. So I do want to read through verse 6 again and just add a few quick thoughts. So, and those who were desirous, okay, and so I is symbolic of desire, and I'm going to add this real quick. I single the glory of Elohim. Now let's go see how that could apply in this next little stanza in the earliest text edition, that Pahoran should remain chief judge over the land, or chief judge. Oh, Elohim. Oh, that he should be the top Elohim or judge. That sounds like the first division of Torah. And these people took upon them the character of free men, or as in they knew their rights and privileges, and then below you'll see they covenanted to keep that for themselves and others. Oh, wait a minute.
What
Purpose of life?
What is the purpose of life? To fear God and keep His commandments,
and help others to do the same.
Yep. And that's the thing, is if one actually fears God, the helping others comes hand in hand, because He says that the second great commandment is like unto the first, love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yes. Yes. And thus there was a division among them. Oh, look about up there at verse 1 about this division of lands or people, thus lands, right? And we talked about how that would represent heaven and hell. And because of this division, the freemen had sworn or covenanted to maintain their rights and privilege of the religion by a free government. I do believe that before we came here to earth, in our pre-mortality, we covenanted to follow Yahweh in his ways. Otherwise, we would have gone with Satan, who was the one that was trying to overthrow and change the law from verse 5.
Now, I do think that on my part, I was in favor of that, because I wasn't going to have anybody telling me what to do. I myself.
He was a little selfish with it.
Yeah, I mean, I say that because faith has always been the hardest part of my journey. First, I had to learn to be obedient, and then and I still, um, and I still to this day some struggle a little with the trust aspect of faith. But I first had to learn to be obedient because it didn't come naturally for me. Um,
Would you say it's becoming easier?
I would say yes, that it is definitely becoming easier. But obedience for me was not a natural thing that I gravitated to. I was always very much of a, in terms of my mindset, almost libertarian political perspective, being very much about freedom of expression, freedom to do, and understanding completely that that included freedom to face the consequences of your choices.
Correct. Which a big problem in today's society is people do not want to take responsibility for their actions. Um, and that just actually causes a lot of weak people, to be honest, and wickedness and sorrow for everybody involved.
Yeah. And so that I think was probably the strongest aspect was the strongest aspect of my character growing up was a rugged independence, but also a sense of, well, if you spill the milk, you've got to clean it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, but that's but the point is that is where it's at. This is the fate. We're here. We chose Yeshua.
And with that choosing came in covenant.
Yeah.
So Andrew, are you willing to read verse 7?
Of course. Wait a second. Gotta pull my phone back up.
Oh, and I should
Verse 7.
yes.
Okay. And it came to pass that this matter of their contention was settled by the voice of the people.
Okay.
Vote.
Yeah, vote. And then also, does that not kind of sound like the council and pre-mortality?
I really wish we could pull up the little snippet in Monty Python, The Search for the Holy Grail.
I'm going twice.
Just because you don't remember doesn't mean you didn't.
That is correct.
Boom. So they was it forced?
No.
It was settled.
It was
By
voted
the
on by the
voice.
people.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make it clear because that's not top down, is it?
No,
It's bottom up.
bottom up.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Bottoms up. That's right.
Actually, bottoms up is what happens when you don't have any choices.
It's true.
When you don't feel like you can approve anything, which happens with top down,
Yeah.
bottoms up. But that's not what I meant.
And it came to pass that the voice of the people came in favor of the freemen,
Amen.
and Pahoran retained the judgment seat.
Okay, so right here, here's an example what was stated in Mosiah 29, right?
Yeah.
It is not, I forget the exact quote, but something along the lines
It
of
is not common.
common, yeah. I think.
It's not common for the voice of the people to choose evil.
And here's this example, and Quran,
Pardon.
Kohoran retained the judgment seat. Now, one thing, Yahweh is Elohim, and Yahweh is Yeshua. Elohim is a word that means judge. Okay. So here it is that Yahweh stayed the judge. And where does he sit?
On the throne of heaven.
which is the judgment seat.
Correct.
He sits on the mercy seat.
Yeah, which is a judgment seat.
Yep.
Because mercy takes judgment.
Yep. You can't apply mercy without first having applied justice.
Yeah, and so now we'll just read those three lists of people for the third part that we talked about earlier. So go ahead, Andrew.
Which caused much rejoicing among the brethren of Pahoran, and also many of the people of liberty.
Oh, wait, liberty is. I should have done it earlier, but since we're here, liberty is freedom from restraints.
Yes.
As in, Kingmen can't just tell them what to do. Just because they want to, because I can't say the other word right now.
Over the course of my life, I would say that I have gravitated from the second group to the first one.
Very good. Okay, Andrew, continue.
Okay, RT, who?
Which?
Who? It says who in mine.
Oh, okay.
Who also put the kingmen to silence, that they durst not oppose, but were obliged to maintain the cause of freedom.
Now, obliged means that they're supposed to do it.
They were constrained by legal force.
Yes.
So they didn't really want to, as they made manifest later when there's like, oh, you want my help? Oh, that's too bad. I didn't get what I want.
You didn't give me your help. You don't get mine.
Yeah. And so,
No quid pro quo.
yeah. Captain Moroni then asked to get permission to enforce the laws and how you are to support your neighbor and country in war because of that, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of patterns going on here, and see how this pattern happened in the council in pre-mortality, and here it's happening right here in the Book of Mormon. It's happening in civil government, and it happened in church government.
Yes.
And you can
It's sad.
and you can see it playing out all over again, even today.
Yes.
With the United States government, just with the United
Only
States.
we're now I would say we're now in that late Helaman, early third Nephi stage.
Mhm.
So I'll read verse 8. Now, those which are in favor of kings, so the monarchs basically getting to push whatever they wanted to happen, whether it was right or wrong, and it was just on their whim, they could push it.
They were of high birth.
Yeah, high birth. So, what's an expression that goes along with Satan?
Snob. Oh, sorry.
Well, there is that. I was thinking a different one. I was thinking son of the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Morning.
Yeah.
And the
He
morning,
did have an esteemed position.
yeah, because he was among the first.
Mhm.
And thus he was looked up to. So Satan, in a sense, is like someone of high birth.
Mhm.
And they sought to be kings.
Just like Satan sought to become like the Most High.
Correct. And they were supported by those which sought power and authority over people. So those who were going to be completely in charge were helped by those who wanted some power over the rest.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't as greedy, plus they didn't have the gumption or the know-how.
Probably not even the talent.
Correct, nor the talent. And so here is a group of people that their desire was control over people to get power rather than becoming like Yeshua to gain his power, which is ultimate power. And when he comes, there is no stopping him because of who he became.
Mhm.
Or he became this even before mortality started, as in he was slain before the foundations of the earth, aka pre-mortality. Which goes along earlier how the purpose of life is to become like him by keeping his laws. His laws are his attributes and characteristics. It's what he would do in this particular situation.
Yes.
It's not just some whim because he's trying to be mean. He's telling us what he would do in the situation. And if you want to be like him, you will act like him instead of off of your own desires.
And on another level, he's telling us for those who are not so highly motivated, but who are still motivated out of a sense of love for Yahweh. These things in his law are telling us what he loves and what he hates. And if we truly loved Yahweh, wouldn't we pay attention to that?
Yes.
Wouldn't we pay attention to what he loves and what he hates, knowing that he is unchanging and therefore that doesn't change? What he loves and what he hates doesn't change. He hates these people. That you hate the deeds of the Nicolaitans, whose deeds I also hate.
Which, as been brought up earlier, includes the top-down leadership. And that's in civil and religious church government.
So even if you don't necessarily feel like you can be like him, if you love him, do what he loves and don't do what he hates.
Yes. And just in closing, I do want to bring out the importance that wickedness and righteousness do have patterns, and they're and the wickedness twists righteousness. Now the question is how they're twisting it. And in government, it is righteous to vote, including in the church, if I can get down here. It's all over the place, so much, and it's described multiple ways with the different words that I'm showing 1828 dictionary definitions and clicks so you can go get to them and check me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this to help. If anything, I've lost money. But these scriptures from Yahweh through the holy prophet Joseph Smith shows church government is by vote. If you believe Brigham Young is a prophet, despite that I don't, Brigham Young said himself, Joseph Smith was president by vote. And that just because he was a president doesn't mean he's a prophet or vice versa. They're independent. So just FYI, prophet is a calling from Yahweh, period.
Yes.
President of the church is a calling from the people.
Yes.
Now, the people who are able to be voted for have to have the Melchizedek priesthood, which ironically Brigham Young stated he did not have. So he was not even eligible for people to vote on him to be president. I'll just show that real quick. So here's Brigham Young. Now I will cause some of you to marvel that I was not ordained a high priest before I was ordained an apostle. So now, this I do believe gets into the fact that the three witnesses were over eager to do what they were told to do. But anyways, Brother Kimball and myself were never never ordained high priest. How wonderful! He's glorying how he's going against the words of Yah. When a man is ordained to be an apostle, his priesthood was without beginning of days or end of life, like the priesthood of the Melchizedek. So he's even there mentioned again, he doesn't have the priesthood of Melchizedek. You need Melchizedek priesthood to be president of the church, as described in D&C 107. And I have quotes on that in here. But anyways, I'll put a link to this.
They should never have voted for him to be the president of the church.
Well, they never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He got them to vote that he would just watch over the church.
Mm-hmm.
But then after he'd been watching over the church, he then just took over.
Yeah.
They never voted it up. I just want to close with this, and then anybody else can say what they want. Look for these patterns. What evil does has not changed. Yes, it's a twist of righteousness. Now, how is it twisting it? Righteousness follows the same pattern. Satan usurped and wanted to take away agency and vote. It happened with the Kingmen in Alma 51, and it's happened with civil and religious governments. Don't be part of evil organizations. You cannot change them within. The top-down organization does not let the righteous people move up. Don't be part of it. Speak out against it from the outside, not inside. I'll let anybody else say something.
So I would say um, the there is a tendency there is a tendency among people to look for somebody else to save them, take responsibility for where they are. That person who would save you, the only person who can save you is Yeshua. The only person who can, and he will only save you if you love him. Now, the thing about the righteous path is that it always honors the agency of our immortal souls. The system that we are currently under does not honor your agency. They give you the chance to vote while laughing at you behind closed doors. We live in the country governed by Gadianton robbers. This is your horrible situation. And there is a solution. But it is not, that solution is not to take up arms against the government. It's simply to opt into a better government by Torah. Now, the government of this country will not understand that. But that is your option at this time. This is how horrible our situation is. You can choose to be governed by God, or you can continue to put your trust in the Christian right and in or the social gospel, or whatever political, quasi-political religious thing that you put your faith in, or you can really choose to really exercise particle of faith and allow God and allow Elohim, Yahweh, to be your Elohim, your judge. Face the persecutions of the world and walk with him. Struggle with God and man and prevail. And that's the choice that we have before us. to leave God out of the picture and try to solve things either politically or violently, or to leave the Gadianton robbers out of the picture and allow Elohim to be our judge. I pray you will make the right choice. The right choice is to honor the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other Elohim before me.
Seek Yeshua, come under his covering, and keep his commandments and help others do the same, and learn to discern, and that's by learning Torah, or the light, as Moroni 7 brings out. And we say this in the name of Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.
Amen.